So security reviews. When you're adopting an AI solution, sometimes your team would say, hey, have you gotten SOA approvals? Have you done security reviews? So here's how you navigate it, right? First is your vendor SOC 2 type 2 compliant? If your vendor is a SOC 2 type 2 compliant vendor, often security teams get a huge sense of relief, because in order to get a SOC 2 type 2 compliance, the vendor has gone through a ton of questions that they had to satisfactorily answer and also get vetted by a third party auditor. And so if your vendor is SOC 2 type 2 compliant, it addresses a lot of questions, puts your IT team at ease. Second, how are you can ask questions like, how are you saving your data? What's your process of deleting data if you have to terminate? What's your data destruction policy? And generally, when your vendor is SOC 2 type 2 compliant, they would have to have all these processes in place. And again, it addresses the question. And the final thing I always recommend to our customers is the use case that you pick early on, let it not be something that requires every data in your company, right? Because if you go to your IT team and say, hey, I want data, and they say, what do you want? You say everything, they're most likely going to say no. So the way to get started is to start small, is to take a use case which has a good mix of some public data and some private data, but even the private data could be things like support tickets or internal docs. And this does not raise eyebrows of IT teams, and they are very comfortable saying yes to such a deployment. Teams that get this wrong is when they go to IT teams and say, oh, I want my database, I want my data lake, everything. And the IT teams are like, oh, great, what are you saying? We can't do this. And in such cases, we always tell the customer, no, stop, take a step back, let's define phase one. And phase one is going to be this, which is your public data sources, private data sources, and some API keys, right? Once you have done this a few months in, you're successful, you're seeing the value, everybody on your team has enough confidence to say, oh, this thing is working, we should do more of this. And then it becomes easy to go back to IT and say, hey, can we get this other thing that we know it's a little sensitive, but can we get it? And because the value has been established, because the vendor's process has been established, because they are SOC 2 compliant, there is a greater chance that you will get permission for that kind of data. The takeaway is start small, public and private data sources, and ideally no PI information in the very first phase. And then once you see the success there, then expand from there. So good luck with your IT implementation of AI for support.